Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Future Stars live on Hidayat TV. Just to remind you, our topic is talking about more about Wudhu, and we went over just before the namaz break. What did we go over?
Jabira Wudhu.
Jabira Wudhu. And what was that? Just to remind us all.
It is wudu that you do if you had like a bandage or like
some barrier where the wajib, where you had to do wajib wudu, where the barrier didn't cover all of that wajib area. Yeah, that's when you do jabira. So if we continue with the questions that we got started with, is it possible to wash a wound by taking off the bandage? Then one has to perform normal wudu. If it is possible to wash a wound, by taking off the bandage, then one has to perform normal wudu.
True.
If my finger starts to bleed when I remove a plaster, I can do jabira wudu.
False.
So I have a finger. If I remove this plaster on my finger, it's gonna start bleeding. What do I do? Should I keep the plaster on? Yeah, or should I take it off and do normal wudu?
Take off. No, keep it on.
Keep it on.
Because otherwise it will like bleed and blood is not just.
Okay, the two correct ways of doing jabira wudu are: A. Place blank piece of cloth over the jabira and pass a wet hand over it.
Tahir.
What is that blank?
Tahir.
Yeah, tahir. Yeah. Place a tahir piece of cloth over the jabira and pass a wet hand over it. And then B. Pass wet blank over jabira. Pass wet hand over the jabira. And then these are just some scenarios. I think we'll only go through two and then we'll try to get on to the next thing. So, Salma wounded her hand while playing basketball. She has a bandage on her left arm and feels limited in the things that she can do. Her mom asked her to go do salah, and she feels that considering that she has a bandage on her arm, she will not be able to perform wudu in a proper manner. She has been taught jabira wudu in Sunday school and is considering whether she should do it or do tayammum. The bandage does not cover her entire hand. Her fingers are visible. What should she do? Should she do tayammum or jabira wudu?
Jabira wudu.
Yeah. Why should she be doing jabira wudu though?
Because it's like not covering her full hand.
So one, it doesn't cover her full hand. Was there anything else in there?
And because tayammum is if you don't have enough water.
So there are another conditions to do tayammum as well.
She's only injured.
And also it goes in that she the pain that it would cause her as well. As she feels limited in the things that she can do because of this bandage. So another one, Maryam has a cast on her right hand, and it covers the entire part of her right hand required for wudu. So it covers all of the parts of her right hand which are needed to do wudu. The doctor has told her that she should keep any type of water away from her hand as it may slow down the healing process for her hand. What should Maryam do in order to do salah? Jabira wudu or tayammum?
Tayammum.
Why should she do that?
Because it's covering like the whole hand.
So we explained that one of the conditions are to do jabira is that if this barrier is on a place where you do wudu, but it doesn't cover the whole thing, all of the part of that hand or part of that place where you need to do wudu, then you can do jabira. If you're covering the whole of that place, then you can't do jabira. So she would have to do tayammum. Do you want to go one more or do you want to go to the next one? One more?
One more.
Okay. Asma is waking up for her Fajr Salah. She has a bruised finger and has a bandage on it. She usually takes her bandage off to clean the wound on her finger. It is cold in the morning and she is sleepy and it feels like she has to go. She should just go ahead and do Jabira wudu to pray her Salah. Is her wudu valid?
No,
Why?
because she's able to take like take it because I think it's only bruised. She's able to
Take off.
take it off and clean it. So but it's only because of her laziness that she wants
Yeah.
to do Jabira wudu.
Yeah, so her wudu wouldn't be valid. Yeah, she would have to do what? Take it off. Yeah, clean it if she clean it, and then what? Do normal
Normal wudu.
wudu. And so we can explain a little bit more about this, and it will help us understand just the previous thing as well. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about tayammum as well. So, Mohsin, you've got the next thing, so we can start. Mohsin, salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
When to do tayammum. Tayammum is a substitute for ghusl or wudu. In today's lesson, you will learn about the circumstances when to do tayammum. Tayammum can be done in the following 7 situations. 1. When you cannot get enough water for wudu or ghusl. If there isn't enough time for performing salah, then you should wait and pray after you find water. If you do not find the water and the time of salah is running out, then you must pray with tayammum. If you know that the water is not available, then it is not wajib to search for it. But if there is a possibility of finding the water, then it is wajib to search for it. How much should one search in such a situation? If you are in a plain or a clear land, then you should search for a distance of 400 steps in 2 directions. If you are in a hilly or a forest area, then you should search for 200 steps in all 4 directions. When water is still available but difficult to reach, it does not make any difference whether this is a difficulty is physical or otherwise. Therefore, if reaching the water involves danger of life, reputation or property, then one should do tayammum. For example, if you are so old that it is difficult for you to go to the water, or if you are too sick that it is difficult for you to go to the water, or if you are in danger of wild animals or thieves while you're going for the water, or if the owner of the water is selling the water to use for an extremely high price, in all such circumstances you should do tayammum. 3. When the use of water is harmful to one's health or life. If you fear that using water might make you sick or harm your health, then you should do tayammum. However, if using warm water is harmless, then tayammum is not allowed. When water is available, but one is afraid that by using the water one will be involved in hardship because of thirst. If you fear that you or your companions or your pets are in danger of thirst, then in such a case you should do tayammum instead of ghusl or wudu. 5. When the time of salah is short, that if one person doing wudu or ghusl, their salah will become qada, whereas during tayammum they will be able to say their salah in time. In such a case, one who should always do tayammum, remember that praying on time is very important. 6. When water is not enough to do wudu or ghusl, as well as purify the najis body or cloth. When the body or the only available cloths you have are najis, then you find that if you use the water or wudu for ghusl, there will be no water to purify your body or clothes, and in such cases you should first purify your body or clothes with the available water and then do tayammum instead of wudu or ghusl. 7. When use of water depends on haram acts. If using water involves anything haram, then one should do tayammum. For example, using water without the owner's permission would make it a haram to use, so it would be better to do tayammum. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. So if we go back and talk about, because we went over a lot of things there, yeah. So what was the first thing that he mentioned?
He mentioned the conditions for tayammum. So
Yeah. So there are quite a few conditions for this. So what would the first be?
when you cannot get enough water for it.
Yeah. So obviously when you can't get enough water, there's not enough water to do wudu, there's not enough water to do or ghusl, yeah, then you would have to obviously do tayammum. Another one.
When water is available but difficult to reach.
So when water is available but it's difficult to reach, yeah, what would be an example of that? Meaning it's difficult to reach.
So if you're sick or if you're old, or if there's fees or a person selling it for a really high price, then
Yeah, so when you go out to get this water, yeah, if you have to go out and get this water and you are in, your life gets put in harm's way, then you do what? Instead of that, you can do tayammum. What is another one?
When use of water is harmful to one's health or life.
Yeah, so we talked about how when we were given the scenarios for the Jabira, that one person said that when she had this bandage on, what would happen if she put water on it? It would harm and prolong the
Healing process.
Yeah. So in these cases, instead of using water, you would do tayammum. Another one.
When water is available but one is afraid that by using that water one would be involved in hardship because of thirst.
Because of thirst. Yeah, so if that water is what needed to put in elsewhere because of other things, yeah, so obviously to do with your survival, because you obviously need water to drink, yeah, then you would do tayammum instead of using that water for wudu. Another one.
When the time of salah is so short that if one starts doing wudu or ghusl, their salah will become qada, whereas by doing tayammum,
Yeah.
they'll be able to say the salah in time.
See, this is how important doing your namaz on time is. That even you can instead of doing wudu, you can quickly do tayammum. Yeah, then you can pray your salah on time. Yeah, so that's when another reason to do tayammum. What's another one?
When water is not enough to do wudu or ghusl, as well as purify the najis body or cloth.
Yeah, so obviously when you have najis clothes and you've only got enough water to what? You can either wash these clothes or you do wudu. What would happen?
You would just purify your clothes and then do tayammum.
Yeah, so you use the water to purify your clothes and then you can do tayammum, and that's obviously the logical way to do it. And is there one more?
When use of water depends on haram acts.
So when you have to do something haram to get this water, then you shouldn't do that. You just do tayammum. So whether that be stealing, yeah, to get that water, then it's something else. Do any of you know how to actually do tayammum?
Is it like you would raise your hands and put it onto the earth?
Yeah. So what? So that's the first part. We'll just quickly go over this as quick as we can. Yeah. Is that what would we? So you, Mr. said, raise your hands and strike them on the earth. What things can we strike?
The sand,
stone, rock. Yeah. So these things, yeah, you can strike your hand on, and then what?
And then you
That's what do you know?
tap it like your forehead.
Yeah, like with the palms
Yeah. And then till what?
to the point
To
of the
your
nose.
Yeah. So in wudu you would do your whole face, but in tayammum from the top using your palms and then go down, yeah, till your till the tip of your nose, till that bit, yeah. Then what?
Then pull the left, get your left palm on the back of the right hand from your wrist to the fingertips.
Yeah. So you would do that. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then is there anything else after that?
Then do it with your other hand.
Yeah. So you do that.
That's it.
And then that's it. So that's quick, isn't it? Yeah. So obviously, before you strike your hands, you would obviously do what? Niyyah. Yeah. And so that's just quick and not, just quickly so we understand how quick it is. Yeah, so that means that how important keeping our namaz on time is, that we can quickly do this. Allah allows us to quickly do this so we can pray our namaz on time. So Misra, you've got the next thing, and talking more about tayammum. Can we start off with the last salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjah.
The conditions of tayammum. Tayammum is a substitute for wudhu or ghusl when a person finds himself in one of the 7 situations discussed in the last lesson. There are, however, 5 conditions which must be fulfilled in order to make the tayammum correct. Number 1, niyyah, intention. If a person has to do only one tayammum, then it is not necessary for that person to specify whether the tayammum is a substitute for wudhu or ghusl. But if a person has to do more than one tayammum, then that person has to specify in the niyyah for each tayammum whether it is a substitute for wudhu or ghusl. For example, suppose 2 people are in a desert where there is no water and the time for prayers is coming to an end. If one person just has to do tayammum as a substitute for wudhu, then he would make his niyyah without specifying what he's doing his tayammum for. In other words, he does not have to say that he's doing tayammum as a substitute for wudhu. Now suppose the other person has to do tayammum as a substitute for ghusl, mas, mayat, as well as tayammum for wudhu. In this case, in his first tayammum, he will specify in his niyyah that he's doing it as a substitute for ghusl, mas, mayat, and in his second tayammum, he will specify that he's doing it for wudhu. Number 2, tartib, order.
Tartib.
All the acts of tayammum must be done in the correct order. First striking the palms on the earth, then wiping the forehead, the right hand and the left hand, and then striking the palms again and wiping the hands again. For example, suppose a person creates his own way of doing tayammum such that he strikes his palms on the earth and then wipes his hand and then his forehead. In this case, his tayammum will be void. Muwalat, continuity. The acts of tayammum must follow one another right away. There should not be a very long gap between one part and the next. For example, suppose a person is doing tayammum and before he is finished he is interrupted by another person for quite a long time. In this case, the person cannot continue with his tayammum. He has to start all over again. Tahara. The parts of body which tayammum is done must be free from any najis element, for example blood, and must also be exposed. There should be no cover on them. For example, suppose a man has some blood on his forehead. Since blood is najis and since tayammum is done on the forehead, then if the person does tayammum, his tayammum will be void. For example, suppose a man has a ring on his finger or a woman has nail polish on her nail. Since tayammum is done on the hands, then if that man or woman does tayammum without removing the ring or nail polish, then their tayammum will be void. Number 5, performing it yourself or with a helper. Under normal circumstances, it is necessary to do tayammum by yourself, but in a case of a disability, someone else may help. In this case, the helper should take your hands and strike them on the earth and do tayammum. If this is not possible, then the helper should strike his own hands on the earth and then wipe your forehead and both hands. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjah. So thank you, Mr. So she went over some more conditions of this is not the conditions of when to do it, but of how to do it. Yeah. So she mentioned importantly the niyyah. Yeah. There are some cases where you have to specify what are you doing the tayammum for, whether you're doing it for wudhu or for ghusl, yeah, as a substitute when a tayammum has to be substituted in instead of doing wudhu or ghusl. Yeah, when you only have to do one of those things, yeah, then you don't need to specify which substitute that you're replacing that with. So you only have to do wudu, yeah. So but you don't have enough water, so you have to do tayammum, yeah. You don't need to specify that you're doing tayammum in replace of wudu. You just make the niyyah that you're doing tayammum. But if you have to do more than one, yeah, so you got to do ghusl first and then you have to do wudu, yeah. You don't have enough water to do Yeah, so you have to do tayammum, and you specify that it's you're doing it for in place of ghusl, and then the second time you say you're doing it in place of wudu. Yeah. And what was another thing? Being in order, tartib.
Tartib.
Yeah, being in order. So what does that mean, being in order?
So like so the way like tayammum is performed, you got to do in each of those steps in the
same
right
with
order.
wudu. Not with the mustahab acts, but there has to be a certain order. Yeah, same as salah. Yeah, you have to follow a certain order. You can't start your say Allahu Akbar then go down to sajda. No, there's an order, isn't there? Yeah, so you have to do it in the exact order. Yeah, and then another one continuous that it has to be continuous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you can't pause in between an action for a long period of time. This has to just be a continuation, like for wudu as well. For wudu you can't make your niyyah, wash your face, then go somewhere for an hour, then come back and then start doing the rest of your wudu. Yeah. What was another one?
Tahara.
So these places where you're doing the tayammum on must be
What?
Tahir.
tahir. Yeah, must be removed. All the najis must be removed off them. Yeah. So Mohsin, I think you've got our last thing, so we can start Mohsin off with the last salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjum.
Revision on how to perform tayammum. Strike palms of both hands together upon which tayammum is correct. Just putting the hand upon the earth is not enough. To pull both palms together from the beginning of your forehead down to the point of your nose. Both sides of the forehead joining the ears should be included. Then pull the left palm upon the back of the right hand from the wrist bone up to the fingertips. 4. Then pull the right palm back to the of the left hand likewise. 5. Strike the palm together upon the earth the second time. 6. Pull the left palm back onto the right hand and do the exact same thing as you did in step 3. Pull the right palm on the back and of the left hand and do the exact thing as you did in step 3. The things to do on the tayammum is allowed in order of preference. 1. Earth. 2. Sand or lump of clay. 3. Stone. 4. Dust that has settled like on a carpet. 5. Wet earth. 6. Snow or ice that has melted into water. 7. Snow or ice. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjum. So we've went over a lot of information there. We'll quickly see if we can apply it. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. And then I think that's all we have time for. So these are short answer questions. So suppose Muhammad was in a desert and he saw a dead man. Accidentally Muhammad touched the man, which meant that he had to do ghusl. Now suppose Muhammad did not have any water on him and it was time for namaz. And the time for namaz was ending as well. So Muhammad decides to do tayammum. How many tayammum does Muhammad have to do, and what should he say for his niyyah for each tayammum?
He has to do 2.
Has to do 2. Why?
Because he touched the dead body, he has to do tayammum for ghusl and tayammum for the wudu.
Yeah. So what would his niyyahs be, Mohsin?
I'll do tayammum for
As a substitute for ghusl. Yeah. So his firstly he has to do what? Ghusl, because of the touching of the dead body. Yeah, because he won't be able to do wudu when he's after he's touched that dead body. He has to do ghusl now. So he would say, I'm doing tayammum for what? Substitute for ghusl. Wajib qurbatan illallah. Yeah. And then what would his niyyah be for the second one?
I am doing tayammum for the substitute of wudu.
Yeah, wajib qurbatan illallah. Yeah. So these are just I think that was easy. So suppose Suppose Muhammad did tayammum in such a way that after his niyyah, he struck the palm of the earth, then wiped his forehead, his right hand, and then his left hand, and then struck his palms on the earth again and wiped his hands. In this case, is his tayammum valid?
Yeah.
So did he go through all of it in the way? So he wiped his, so he struck, firstly he struck his palms on the earth, then he wiped his forehead, then his right hand, then his left, and then struck his palms on the earth again, and then wiped his hands again. Was that the order?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so the tayammum would be valid. What should be done for a person who cannot do tayammum by himself?
He should like have a helper.
In what way?
So the helper would strike the person's hands onto the earth and like help him perform
Yeah.
the tayammum.
What is meant by tartib in tayammum?
The order.
The order. What do you mean by the order? That?
So like the order of which tayammum should be done in.
Yeah, so it has to be done in that order. It can't be deviated from any other order. Okay, choose the correct answer. Suppose Muhammad does tayammum with earrings on. I don't know why he's got earrings on, but he's got earrings on. Is his tayammum valid?
No,
No.
Why would it not be valid?
because you have to take off.
Okay, so these are options. A, yes. B, no. C, only if she makes sure she rubs her hands on her ears also. D, none of the above.
B.
B,
Why?
because you're meant to take off all jewelry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see that.
Suppose suppose someone was doing tayammum before they finished, someone interrupted them. They talked about school for about 10 minutes. In this case, can that person just continue their tayammum, or do they have to start all over again?
Have to start
Start all over again.
Why?
Because
What are one of the rules of doing tayammum?
The continuity.
Yeah.
Wallet.
We are allowed to do tayammum on the sand.
Yeah, true.
True. Okay, one more question. Here are some things on which tayammum is allowed. A, earth, sand, stone, dust that has settled. B, marble, plastic, diamonds or gold. C, snow, ice, wet earth, melted ice. D, both A and C. E, both B and C. Hopefully,
D.
yeah, D. So both A and C. So hopefully it seems like you have learnt a lot on today's show. Hopefully you lot at home have learnt a lot about more about wudu in general, and what you would have to do in substitute for those for doing wudu as well if you can't do wudu normally. So hopefully you learnt a lot on today's show. We'll see you next week, same time, same place on Hidayat TV. But till then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.